Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Carla Cutter with Carla Cutter Realty, and I am here with Sabrina Godinez from Novomar Insurance. We're going to be talking a little bit about insurance, rental, and if you own a property. Sabrina, can you tell us a little bit more about you and your business?
Yes, thank you. We're Novamar Insurance Mexico. I've been working at Novamar for the past 11 years, and in Novamar Insurance Mexico, we have different insurance programs for different needs, such as auto, boat, home, health, and commercial lines. Novamar Insurance Mexico is a part of Novamar Insurance Group that is based in the USA. Although in the USA, we just take care of the yacht insurance. Basically, we're an insurance brokerage firm that provide guidance to expats in Mexico for the different programs that they're going to need when they're living here.
Very, very, very good. So, somebody that owns or rents a property here, how do they go about getting insurance?
Yes, so the to request a quote is one thing, and then to issue the policy is another. But basically, the information is very simple. They're going to ask you for your personal information, which is your name and your phone number. And then regarding the property, they're going to ask you what type of property it is. Is it a home, a condo, or a renter's insurance policy? And they're going to ask you for the address. The address is the most important item in the list in order for us to provide you with the quote.
Very, very good. If I buy a property, what are my options? What is the procedure?
Of course, it's going to depend on the type of property that you purchase. In this case, is it a condominium, or is it a standalone, or is it a villa? So in insurance companies or insurance procedures, there's only one type of policy, the homeowner's policy. And depending on the type of property, we're going to select the type of sections and coverages that you're going to need. And when I say sections, the policy is divided in three sections to put it in a very simple way: the section of the building, the section of the contents, and the miscellaneous. In the miscellaneous, we're going to have a lot of different coverages, and I'll go there in a minute. So let's say that you buy a standalone, and it's a property, it's a standalone home. You don't have any neighbors wall to wall, and we're in Puerto Vallarta, so we're going to look at the options you have. So the coverages that we're going to have in this section is going to be fire and all risk. That's an automatically. We cannot take them off. But then we have to decide if you want to add earthquake and if you want to add hurricane coverage. Okay, and then after that, we would move on to the contents, which is your personal belongings, and you would give me the amount of money that you would need to replace your contents if your house were on fire and you had to replace
The
all
whole
of
thing.
those contents. And at the end, we would select the miscellaneous. So if you have solar panels, if you have a pool, what type of coverages from that section you're going to need. Usually, the most common ones is glass breakage, electronic equipment breakdown, and outdoor constructions, where we're going to cover the solar panels in this case.
Very good. So now if we are doing a rental insurance, what is the procedure for that?
Okay, for renter's insurance, since you're not the owner of the property, basically your main concern is going to be your personal belongings, which is your furniture, if you buy any furniture, and your carry-ons, right? Your computers, your TVs, or whatever. And you give me the sum insured of the amount you want to have there. Same coverages, fire and lightning, all risk, hurricane and earthquake. And then we're going to move on to the miscellaneous. And here is where we're going to be very specific in guiding you to purchase the liability insurance, because you're renting and you do have the risk, for example, or either to damage the property, let's say with the fire or an explosion, or to damage the neighbors below you, let's say with the water leak. So the liability is very important in a renter's insurance policy.
Is the medical included in the liability insurance?
That's a good question. Actually, the general liability does not cover the renter itself. You need to request the rental liability coverage. And with this rental liability coverages, we're going to protect first the person that's hiring the policy. In this case, the owner of the property that's being rented has to request the rental liability coverage. Okay, so with that in mind, we let's say we select a sum insured of $500,000, and let's say that the renter suffers an accident in the property. Those medical expenses will be reimbursed uh, to the owner of the policy. So in this case, it's just important to clear out. The owner of the property is the one responsible to purchase the rental liability coverage, because
Very
he is
important.
it's his property. And the renters, he can have his own policy to cover his contents and the liability that he can cause to the house itself. So it's two different coverages and in two different policies.
Okay. As far as prices, I know there's a very, very big um, area, from depending on what you're insuring. But just to have a rough idea to everybody, what a renter's insurance per se, somebody that is the expats that come here for 6 months and they would like to have their belongings insured. What would you guess, I guess,
Hmm.
would be the cost for a policy like this?
Yes, the estimate it's going to really depend on the sum insured you select. So let's say if you have $15,000 of contents or $20,000 of contents, plus we recommend a $1 million liability sum insured, and it's not super expensive, and they could start from $300 a year.
Oh, very good. And what about, I know that the properties is the same thing, is depending on the site and depending on the contents, but a basic policy, what will that, how much will that be?
So if you're going to insure a standalone policy, like as you just mentioned, it's going to depend on a lot of factors, but we can say that it can go from $500 to up to, depending on the size of the
Right,
property,
right.
$15,000.
Right. Very, very good. If you have any more questions or contact me via email or on my website, again, my name is Carla Cutter with Carla Cutter Realty. And this is Sabrina Godinez with Novomar. Sabrina, thank you so much for the valuable information. We really appreciate your time.
Thank
Thank you
you.
and have a great day.